Hello. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, somewhere out there in the world. This is the Face of a Hero show. We want to welcome you all, those that are joining to watch Who Will Our Hero Be Tonight? And I want to, first of all, thank everyone for being so patient because I was on a hiatus and now I'm back, and we are looking for new heroes. And in this month of December, you know, heroes are not just first responders. Heroes are, could be you or myself, people that are making a difference in their community because they're driven by their heart and they have compassion for people. And so tonight's guest is exactly that, someone that has a heart, that has a past. We all have had a past. Some of our past may be good, some not so good. But we are not judging on this show. This is a story that this young man was actually brought to me by someone else. Ms. Brown, thank you so much for actually bringing this person to my attention, because this is something that I ask you all as my audience, that if you know a hero and they need to share their story, please send them to me. You know how to reach me, 219-262-7009, or the number that I put on the screen. But if you want to get me faster, then that would be the number 219-226 262-7009. And of course, this is the Face of a Hero every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this guest, I was shared some information about him, and I just felt moved to say, yes, we do need to, sorry about that, we do need to share your story. And so if you know someone that you believe that has been making a difference in the community or in their place of employment with people, then please send them my way. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Mr. Michael to the stage. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, even you.
Wonderful. Oh, I can't complain. And I just want to thank you for saying yes to this invitation. And this is obviously Mr. Michael Montgerard. Did I say that correct?
Yes, you did.
All right, wonderful. And so I was touched by his story. And of course, Ms. Brown, you actually touched me with what you shared as well. And in the questions that I was asking Mr. Montgerard, it touched me because everybody has a past, everybody has a story, and I cannot tell no one's story but my own. And so, once again, today you are the guest, you are the face of a hero, and some people were touched by your actions, and so in their eyes, you are a hero to them. And so, this is what this platform is all about: bringing heroes to tell their stories. So, welcome once again to the Face of a Hero show, and for making time to be here. Um, Whether this is the first time or not the first time sharing your story, I am actually humbled and honored to hear your story here on this show. Well,
Thank
let's
you.
hear a little bit about you. Who is Michael Montgerard? Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Lansing, Illinois. I grew up there until I was 17. Then I joined the Army. I was a paratrooper from 18 years old till I was 21.
Well, first
And
of all, I want to say thank you for serving. Thank you for your service in those years that you served.
yep, I appreciate it.
So, obviously, like most kids, make decisions abruptly or not, or they think about it, they talk to their parents about it, or maybe not. What made you choose to go to the army?
Well, one of my dad's older friends was a Vietnam veteran, and he was a paratrooper. And I always loved to hear his stories. And when I was old enough, I told my parents what my plans were, and they accepted it, and they signed for me to go in when I was 17. I was in the 82nd Airborne Division.
And how did you feel making that decision?
It was something I always wanted to do since I was a child. I had a lot of uncles that were World War II veterans, and I loved to hear their stories, and it was just something I always wanted to do. And it was exhilarating. I enjoyed the time. I only spent 3 years, and I moved on in life. I then became a commercial fisherman for quite a few years. on the oceans and other things in my life. I've been a gold miner, a sword fisherman, a tuna fisherman, a scow fisherman. I scuba dived in the Bering Sea for gold. I also worked on a dredge digging for gold in the Bering Sea. I always been kind of addicted to adrenaline, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And one of the reasons I got involved in some of my dirty past, on drugs and alcohol. But I overcame that when I was 45 years old and changed my life and went to college and
Yeah.
studied with some young teenagers and just young people. And it was exhilarating to be around them after I had cleaned my mess up that I had made and learn with them and tell them my stories and started writing when I was in college. I always took notes in journals and diaries when I was younger, and I still have them today of some of the adventures I've been through.
Wonderful. Now, you mentioned drugs and alcohol, and I know that sometimes we go through bittersweet moments, and not to bring you flashbacks of your past, but the past is part of you, which brought you to where you are today. And from what I just heard, I heard resiliency and I heard perseverance. Now, um, a lot of people turn their life for the good or for the worse, but sometimes it could be going bad. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you say, this is just not the life I want anymore. So, how was it being under the influence, whether it was drugs or alcohol?
It
I
was
heard
both.
you mentioned that you've gone and served some time.
Yeah, it was a rough part of my life. I mean, it's really hard to be locked up away from your family and always feeling guilty, trying to hide from people. It's just devastating. For 20 years, I was an addict. 25 years. And when my wife was getting ready to retire, she was older than me. I promised her that I'd quit, and the day she retired, I quit everything and got clean. And
Amen.
she lived for another 7 years after that, and she finally passed away. And
My
I just
condolences.
I just promised myself that I wouldn't do anything stupid no more in honor of her. She
Man,
always took care of me even when I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And
wow.
um,
Bless her
I
soul
tried
and
to
may she rest in peace.
I tried to yeah, she was a great lady. She was my twin sister's best friend when I met her. And right after I got out of prison, I met her. So she put up with my shenanigans for 24 years
Wow.
and
Wow.
pretty much let me do whatever I wanted, but tried to get me out of it. But you can't stop an addict once they're in it.
Right. You would have to make the choice yourself. And I think that the biggest and most important moment is when you admit that it's been you, right? And to see
Yeah.
where you are versus where you want to go. So I
'Cause
commend you for making that decision that I wouldn't
yeah,
know how it would be, but you made the best decision, right?
I did it all on my own too. I didn't go to AA. I didn't do any of that. I just quit on my own. One day I just quit everything.
Amen.
And
Well, you had to surrender it, right? And
yeah,
say,
I did.
this is no more.
You got that right. And
Awesome.
I realized that I wasn't such a bad guy after I got clean and sober. I was actually the total opposite of what I portrayed myself when I was younger. And I liked it. I liked the experience of being sober. I liked the experience of not doing drugs. And I liked the way people interacted with me after I got clean and sober. They really enjoyed my company.
They
And I
got
try
to
to,
know who you are, and you got
yeah,
to
I
know
got
who you are.
right. And I try to portray that. I try to instill that in people that I meet, just strangers. I try to be kind and nice and do what I can for them. And
Wow.
it, totally against what I was when I was an addict. Totally different person.
What got you to the point that you actually said, this is it, no more? Where were you at? Do you remember that moment, that day that you said, this is not the life I'm supposed to have? This is it. I'm done.
My wife was getting sick, and I didn't want her to. I wanted her to remember me better than the drug and alcoholic I was. So I cleaned my stuff up, and for 7 years I was sober and clean around her until she passed. And I think she had some of the best times of her life that 7 years. We traveled around the country in an RV that I rebuilt and went from place to place, and finally ended up moving to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, for quite a few years, where my brother Scott lives. And we lived on an RV park. I worked maintenance there. It was all free, and she just loved the serenity of it all.
Awesome.
She
That's awesome. And that's great that you gave her that time, but you gave it to you as well, not
Yeah.
knowing how long she had to live. And seven is the number of perfection. It's a good number, seven,
Yeah.
right?
I hear
And
you.
may she rest in peace. And so you change your life. You're sober. Congratulations. I know it's not easy. I cannot imagine what it would be like. I've not been an addict, but we all have our past that we've had to deal with and to change for the better, to be a better version of ourselves. And so I've heard great things of you, Michael,
Thank
and
you.
you mentioned something that you like the way others feel being around you and you being around others.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about that. I know you want to share some things
Well, most of the tenants I deal with, that they live in a harsh environment and they have struggles also, and I understand. So all the tenants that I work with and I uh, hang out with during the day, I try to treat them with respect in the same way they like to be treated, and I'd like to be treated. And it shows in their face, and they tell me all the time how much they appreciate me and what I do for them. I go out of my way to try to make them all happy. I don't think I've had one complaint since I started working for Karen the last 3 years about my performance or my attitude or anything like that. So it's a mindset that changes after you get clean.
there. That's
And
right. That's where it starts.
I like it
Mindset.
when they open a door and I've been there before and they see me again. They appreciate it. They're happy. We converse and they tell me stories about themselves. And like Miss Brown, she's a great lady and her son. I try my best to do what I can for everybody in the buildings, and they reciprocate nicely.
That's always great. Yeah, that
Exactly.
it's always great when you do for others and you get that back, right? You're sowing seeds and you get that back. But I don't think that you do it to get something in return. I think it's just something that's natural that comes from you, from what I'm hearing.
Right.
And it probably always was there.
It was when I was a young boy.
Always
When I was a young boy, people liked to be around me. But once I started drinking and then led to other things, imprisonment, and, all the jail stuff I've been through, it just changes your attitude. And you're just, every day you wake up depressed and lonely. But once I got
there.
clean, it all came back together.
Let me take you back for a moment, if you don't mind, and feel free to say I don't want to answer, or feel free. I'm not
Okay.
here to rub any salt in any wounds. On the contrary, I want the audience to see that you're being vulnerable now, and you're telling your story and the not so good things or great things as well. But it also helps in growth and healing, and it just goes to show people the resiliency and the perseverance that you have been led to deal with your past, but yet you're resilient. You're showing the resiliency right now as you talking to me about, talking to my audience here about your life. What was the worst moment that you would say you've experienced while being in prison?
Um, I had a cellmate once that attempted to rape me. You know, I
Mm,
had to fight for my life that night. That was pretty scary. And just being around people that don't really care about you and the violence that I've seen,
mm.
um, being assaulted for no reason whatsoever. I mean, it's just, you never know what's going to happen when you're there. It's just a scary existence. And
Wow.
other things that have come across, I don't know, there's been so many things in my life that have happened to me. And now that I just don't think about them anymore, it's hard to recall them.
Oh, and that's okay. It's kind
And
of
I
good
am
to leave
60,
it in the back
I am
burner, right?
60, I am 60. So my memory's kind of not, I can't pull back memories as easily as I once could.
And that's understandable. I don't know about because you're 60. I'm not far from there,
No,
so
hey, that's not what I
but
meant. I mean,
but it has a lot to do with the things that you've gone through, and sometimes we rather not want to remember those things. But when we talk about it, is to say I am grateful and I'm thankful and blessed to say I'm not there anymore.
yes,
That's not my life anymore.
not
You know,
anymore.
and the enemy will try to remind you of remember how he's
Exactly.
always there to try to remind of our past, and he has no future, but you have a great future ahead of you from what I'm hearing because you are sowing seeds, Mr. Montgerard. You are sowing
Um,
seeds by treating others with kindness and respect. That's what I'm hearing. And someone that's watching is can possibly say yes. I vouch for that because I've been the recipient of his kindness, of his compassion.
that'd be
And
nice.
so today you are the face of a hero on this show. And as I said it earlier, and in every episode, a hero is not necessarily only a first responder. We are all first responders to something, to someone, right?
Exactly.
We're not just talking about a fireman or EMT or police officer. We're talking about human beings that are out there just doing what they can to help someone else, to brighten up somebody else's day, no matter what kind of day we're having, right?
Right.
Because I think that, well, you tell me, how does it make you feel when you know that you've made someone's day?
Uh, it brightens my day, and it did it. I enjoy it. It brings happiness to me instead of the dull, the being depressed or being unhappy about something. When I see somebody's face and they smile for what I've done for them, worked on their house or fixed something for them, I enjoy it. And that's basically how I try to go out through my life now, is helping everybody that I meet, or at least being kind to them, if
Yes.
it's the only thing I can do.
Kindness matters. Kindness matters. The act of a random act of kindness goes
Exactly.
beyond than what we believe that it's doing for that person, not knowing that it's actually blessing us,
Right.
right? To
Exactly.
see that just opening the door for someone
Right.
can be
That's one of my
blessing,
things.
right? And just sharing a smile with someone can do a great deal, make a difference to that person thinking it's something free, a smile. But
Right.
people ought to realize that it's free. Why aren't you doing enough of it? Why aren't you smiling more, right? Why aren't
Right.
you doing that for you and others? So, what's the one thing that sticks out the most that you would say this is your time to, well, they say it's not bragging if it's true, that you would say that you've really gone out of your way for someone? What would that be?
Um, Recently, I've been helping out a young mother of 4 children with financing and, just money here and there, and buying her groceries once a week or twice a week or once every 2 weeks or once every week. Just making sure she has enough food to eat and her kids. Um, when she needs money, I'll give her 20 or 30, $40 here when I have it in my pocket. Or I'll go to the ATM and get it out because I don't carry cash no more. Nobody does. I don't know. I don't think so.
Right? No, not a lot.
Right. And
That's
just things like that. I really can't go out of my way because I'm not a rich man or anything like that.
no,
It's
but
just
that is
the
out of
small
your
things
way.
that I do.
You've made that decision to do that because you're putting someone else first. So that is going out of your way, Michael, because you're
Right.
not thinking about, well, I'm going to need this 40 tomorrow. Or I need food too. Or I'm going to need this 20 for gas. Or
Right.
you're not, I'm not hearing you thought that. I'm hearing you just said she needs it more than I do.
Exactly.
That's
And I have more.
that
I
is
have more
going.
than. I have more than enough than what I need. I don't need everything that I have. And 20 or 40 or $50 ain't gonna kill me, or
Amen.
break me.
Well, thank
So
you
I try to.
for you
I
doing
try to
that.
help everybody.
Thank you. And God looks out for those soldiers that are out there doing for others. I always say do a good deed without seeing who you're doing it for. Right?
Right.
Because
And I
when
do it.
it says in the Bible, when you do to those least among me, you're doing it to me. And that's exactly what I'm hearing you're doing. And thank you for serving. Thank you for doing that because that is a service and that's sort of like a ministry. And some people don't realize that it is a ministry. Being out there and doing for others and
Exactly.
caring, being selfless, not thinking
Well,
about oneself. So I commend you for that.
yep.
Knowing that where you came from to where you are today, what would you tell your younger self now, knowing what you know now? What would you tell your younger self?
Don't be an idiot. Basically, I mean, I always knew I was this person that I am today, but I would try and force myself into listening to the people that had experience and not just blowing them off and doing what I wanted.
Mm.
My younger self was violent, drunk, And I hated it. It was like living inside somebody else's body, you know. I just I appreciate where I am now and the fact that I am able to give to other people, you know.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So, what would that message be? See, you said you were in a mess, but see, God allows a mess for a message, right?
Right.
And so now you have a message to teach to the younger ones, to those that look like what you used to look like. What would that message be? And here, this is the platform, this is your platform. What would that message be to them?
To listen to their elders. I mean, it sounds like a worn out pun, you know, a saying, but it's actually true if you just listen to the people that are experienced. If I would have just listened to the people that knew better, I wouldn't have turned into that mess. Is all I can actually say about it. I mean, I don't know what else to say except for I chose the wrong path and I didn't listen to the right people. I should have been more stronger in my faith, you know, and I just got away from it all after I got out of the military. Well, I got in the military, I started drinking and really heavily when I was in the military because of the people I hung around with and the decisions I made. One decision can ruin your life.
Mm, that's deep. One decision can ruin your life. And for every choice we make, there's a consequence that follows, right?
Oh, yeah. The look in my wife's eyes or my parents' eyes when I was younger or my brother's eyes or my friends' eyes, you know, the way they looked at me and
Mm,
the way they lost respect for me, you know, that really hurts when you're a young man trying to learn. And so I just drowned it all out in alcohol and drugs for 20 some years. And
right.
fortunately enough, I was able to snap out of it with my
Amen.
wife's help and the Lord.
Amen. And he did it for you. He's
Yes, he
never
did.
left you nor forsaken you, and he will continue to be with you and in you. And that's what he is asking you to continue to do, to serve others, to do good to those even those who wrong you, who did you wrong, right? You just
Exactly.
can't hold any grudge because you're only hurting yourself when you do that,
Exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
now, how's the family with you? You've been sober for how long now?
Um, 2010, 14 years,
Wonderful.
2010, 14 years, almost 15 years.
Congratulations, because I know it takes strength to stay
Oh,
sober.
it, it, well, like I said, just one day I snapped and I said, that's it. And I just quit everything. It was so simple. I got tired of it. You know, it's like everything else. You grow out of it, you know, eventually, if you
Well,
have the
some people don't
opportunity.
grow
And,
out of it until they die,
yeah,
unfortunately.
it-
So I'm glad you did.
my family, you know, I've lost my parents, both of them. I have an older brother and a twin sister. They love me,
Wait,
respect
you're
me
a
now.
twin?
Yeah, I have a twin sister. She's 10 minutes older than I am.
I'm a twin. How about
No
that?
way. Hey,
Yeah. I just said,
yeah.
you're a twin?
And
Yeah.
I remember all the twins I meet in my life. So I'll probably never be able to forget you now, Eve.
No. And since you know my name, what do you think my brother's name is?
Uh, Eve, let me see.
I'm
Hey,
Eve.
what?
I'll
Can't
take you
get
to the Bible, Genesis. That's so easy.
Ezekiel?
No, the first chapter in Genesis.
Okay.
Who did he start out with?
Adam.
There
Sorry
you
about that.
go.
I was in I had a brain fog there for a
You
minute.
know, Adam and Eve.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's my twin. So now I get to meet another twin today. How about that?
Yeah,
Look at
exciting.
how ironic is that?
And my real family, I don't have any children. My wife was too old to have babies when I met her. And it's just me and the people I work with and the owner of the company I work for, Karen. She's my best friend. I've known her for 40 years. And she's a great lady. I live on a
Wonderful.
tiny home on her farm in the back of the property here, right next to a pond by the woods. I see deer every morning, and when I wake up
That's
and open the
peaceful.
door,
Love
yeah,
it.
it is. I don't hear any of the traffic or sirens or anything of the city. I love it. She has a
Wonderful.
small farm with animals, horses and goats and chickens and ducks. And
So I take it you take care and love on them too?
well, Karen is a very energetic woman is the way I can put it. A very kind woman, and she takes care of most of the animals at times. But when she's out of town or she goes somewhere, I take care of the animals for her. I've been taking care of them for the last week now.
And that's
She's in Mexico.
therapeutic, right?
Yeah, it is. I like being around the animals,
That's
talking to them.
wonderful.
We just
You
got a
know,
new horse.
you got a new horse?
Well, we have one. We had one Dolly. That was our original horse. And Karen just purchased another horse named Butch. And he's been
Okay,
in quarantine for about a week now. But when she gets back, we're going to free him from the stall and he'll be with Dolly.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Very therapeutic. I mean, there's parents that bring their children that have autism with horses because that's therapeutic. And now there's a lot of people that actually use service dogs
right.
to help with their anxiety or whatever issues they may be going. So animals are precious. So they're there for a reason. I'm not an animal lover. I respect them. I just don't have animals around me in my home or anything. Doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just not
Right.
around me. We're good. I keep my distance, but they do have a purpose, just like everybody.
Right.
Everything serves a purpose, and you have a greater purpose, Michael. So I don't know where you see yourself between now and 5 years. Have you even thought about that? What is it that you
Yeah.
want to accomplish that you've yet
I,
to do?
when, when I was a sword fisherman, the last 2 trips I did on the ocean, I was rescued once by the Canadian Coast Guard and once by the U.S. Coast Guard. So I never got to finish them trips. And now that
Wow.
I'm 60, I still think I can go out there and do it. And that's one of my dreams, go out one
Mhm.
more trip on the ocean again before I get too old to do it.
Well, wanting is willing.
I know.
Since you put your
And
mind to it, you can achieve anything.
If I asked my boss, Karen, she would probably let me go, for an extended period, like a month or two, because they're
Yeah, you
long
never
trips.
know. I mean, hey, God blesses people, okay? He's in the business of miracles, and you never know, but you got to ask. You have not
Right.
because you ask not. And so, if that is the Lord's will to make it happen, just speak it. It'll happen. You just never
I
know.
know.
You just
I
never know.
know.
Sometimes it could be somebody that's listening right now that's watching this show that says, "Hey, Eve, I want to bless this man." Or, "Hey, Eve, I want to give this." And you just never know. God works in ways that he uses us. He works through people. So
Exactly.
I
I
want to
believe
thank
that wholeheartedly because I'm here now. I'm
you.
doing
Amen.
well.
Amen. And you are God's vessel and he is using you. And thank you for allowing that to happen in your life because it is a choice. Every day is a choice to wake up, get up, do something or not. It is a choice. And you choose to do better and not
Right.
be bitter, considering all that you had one put yourself through and others had put you through, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Of course, no one deserves any mistreatment, no matter where you are, if you're locked up or not. I mean, I'm sorry that that happened to you, but I've heard other stories from other people that have been in prison. They've shared their stories with me, and it's like, wow, this is just it's a very dark world in there, right?
Right.
And you have to defend yourself for others, from what I've heard
Exactly.
in other people's stories. So, anything else you would like to share? Again, this is your platform. This is the Face of a Hero show. We come on every Thursday. I say we, but my co-host, he's sabbatical. I don't know if he's coming back or not. Agustin, Tino, if you're listening, we miss you. But anything else you want to share here?
No, just the fact that once I got clean and sober, my life got a lot easier. To say one, I got more curious about the world, so I went out and did things that some people just dream of for like 7 or 8 years after my wife passed. And I just got done. My last job was up in Alaska, like I said, gold mining on a gold dredge and diving into the Bering Sea for gold.
Wow.
Um, I got scuba certified when I was 50. I went to college when I was 50. I mean, just things
Wow.
that I
Look at
never
that. You're never too
experienced.
old. Look at that.
Right.
I'm
Never
hearing it.
experienced.
Perseverance, right?
Right.
You went to college and what did you take?
Um, literature, English literature 101 and computer science, which is funny. I took computer science and writing in prison back in 2001 when the buildings were bombed, Twin Towers.
Mhm.
And once I went and got my Pell Grant to go into college in Arizona, I signed up for the same classes, computer science and literature 101.
Wow.
And
Good.
I try to use it to write. I'm still trying to put together a book about my experiences, and uh, I'm
Good.
just
I'm looking
I
forward
don't
to that.
yes. Miss Brown gave me an idea how I could probably speed up the process to get it done faster. I kind of put it off because I don't like to talk too much about my life anymore. When I was younger, I'd brag about it, but as you get older, you don't say nothing about it, and it just kind of goes away, and you forget about it.
Wow.
But
And your journaling, I think, serves a purpose for that book. You go back and
exactly,
find your writings, and that's where you're going to start your writing in your book. And it's not about you, Michael. It's about what you went through to help somebody else to not go through
I
that.
love that part.
That book is going to do that. It's going to help
Right,
others. It's going to help another young man that is thinking and feeling the same way you did, but you're helping them choose a better route, a better
exactly.
roadmap than the one
And,
you took, right?
and that's why I did all the things I did after I got clean and sober was I could show other people, younger people, that it's possible to change your life completely, and from what I
Amen.
was to what I have accomplished since then.
Oh, and kudos to you. At 50, you decided to go back to college, where some people say, I'm too old. No, that just tells you it's never too old to go back to school. Never too
I've,
old.
I've been treated like shit oh, excuse me. I've been treated like crap when I was younger, and I don't want to treat anybody like that ever again. I don't
Amen.
want anybody to feel like that. That's why I treat the tenants so well, and they appreciate it. I bring a smile to their face, and that's all it is for me, is to see somebody smile when they're having a bad day. When I knock on tenants' doors that know me from previously, they open a door and they see me and they smile, and give me a hug, and invite me in like I was one of their family members, and that really brings the happiness to me, is
Wonderful.
making other people happy.
Yeah. No, and to me, it's a blessing to see that. It blesses oneself when we do that, right? And so
Exactly.
keep up the great work, Michael. Thank you for sharing your story here on being the face of a hero here on this show. And so I'm sure this won't be the last. I can't wait to hear, hey, I got my book published.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll stay in touch with you, Eve.
Yeah, no, that would be good. That would be good. And so keep up the great work. Thank you for serving. Thank you for doing for others. And, you know, just know that there is a God, and he's going to continue to use you so long as you allow him to. And it's all for the greater good, for humanity, and for being that vessel to make a difference in your community, in the world, because it can happen one person at a time, one family at a time. All of us do that collectively. My gosh, the world be a better world, right? A better place to live in.
I appreciate it, Eve. I
Yeah.
really do. And thanks
Well,
for
thank
letting
you
me come
so.
on.
You're
I've never done
welcome.
anything like this. I've
Well,
never done anything like this before. So thank you.
no, you're welcome. And that, like I told the audience, hey, if you guys know of a hero and you believe that their or feel that their story need to be shared, please reach out to me. Please reach out to me. And on that note, Mike, thank you once again for coming on. So stay behind the scenes, and I'll be back with you. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Wow, what a story. This is the Face of a Hero show, and I want to thank you for being here tonight, and share it, share the show, because it's not about me, it's about my guests, it's about the heroes, it's about people making a difference to make it a better world. Because the things that are happening nowadays is just, I wouldn't want to bring another child to this world, but God is in control regardless. And so we need to continue to sow good and do for others. Do good to those who wrong you, forgive, love unconditionally, and it blesses you. It makes you a better person. So be better and not bitter. And on that note, thank you for joining me here on the Face of a Hero show. And of course, this Sunday, I don't know who I'm going to bring as a guest. I do have one powerful story that I want to bring up, and it'll be a part 2 of the untold story of Vernon T. Bateman, but that will be on Real Talk with EVE, and that show comes on Sundays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do live a busy life serving. Obviously, I'm a servant leader. Titles mean nothing. Just doing what I'm supposed to do here on earth, because I have said I'm going to die empty. I will not bury I don't want anybody to bury me with gifts still in me and not sharing out here. And you should too. So let's not add value to the cemetery. Let's add value here while we're still alive. And so thank you once again. We'll be back with some more heroes. So once again, if you know of a hero that should share their story, please reach out to me. Text me to 219-262-7009. 219-262-7009. On that note, have a wonderful, blessed evening. Be safe out there. And for those that are in the cold region in the Midwest, Stay warm. Don't let the wind blow you. All right. With that, it's been real. It's been fun. Gotta go. Gotta run, and I gotta find my song here. Hey, there we go. All right. See ya.